I can't hear you.
Oh my gosh, did I just do that whole
Yeah,
thing on
I
mute?
can
Did I
hear
do
you.
that whole thing on mute?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What a great start. What a great start. See, I told you it would be sketchy. Here we go. So you just well, I'll go through it again then. Welcome to the very rough first live event for ScrawlrBox. We've got Kat here to my left or right, left, and Lee. We will be hopefully, if you like, doing monthly live events, going through our boxes, speaking to artists, having some fun, doing some giveaways, and yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to load up the comments, but it's not letting me, obviously, because that's handy. So I'll just maybe try and go through and look at them personally. I see Ed's here. There's lots of Steph, Mel, Amy, Janet, Amanda. Thank you for telling me that my
Hi, everyone.
is not on. That is very useful. Where should we start then? Shall we start while people are coming in? If anybody's got any questions for us personally about ScrawlrBox, about the company, about how we work, about I don't know, anything. Shout us some questions, and then we'll get started while we wait for other people to join in, maybe. And I get together with finding out what I'm doing. Yeah, so you may not know, ScrawlrBox as a company this is it, pretty much it. It's just us three in the office every day. We do have obviously people putting together and shipping the boxes, but in the office it is just us three. So we're not a massive company. ScrawlrBox as a company is no. When will my hat be in the merch store?
That's a great question.
Amy, it won't be, unfortunately. It is a one-off. I drew it myself, so it's one of a kind. I'm not going to do it again. It took me far too long. And but you can design your own. You can buy a blank hat and put it in yourself.
What pens did you use?
What pens did I use for this? I think I used Copics and some kind of fine line, probably a Micron, maybe a bit of Posca, whatever I had on my desk at the time. I think it's Copic colours. Free hat for everyone in the chat. I'm not sure about that, Mel. Yeah, it took me long enough to do one for myself. I'll be doing one for everyone else.
No, I think that's a great idea. Free hat for everyone in the chat.
We've got another question from Belinda, who says, how do you become a featured artist? Well, there's various ways. We have a email we can send to collab@ScrawlrBox, and you can send us your artwork, your Instagram, and we'll take a look. And if we find a box or supplies that fit your work and we think it would be suitable, then we could contact you. Or sometimes we find an artist we like and contact them and then find out what supplies they got. Or sometimes we find supplies that we want to include and then we go hunting for an artist that uses those supplies. So there's lots of different ways that you could be a featured artist. And we don't always use kind of famous or popular artists. We use, we try and get a good variety of styles and, however many Instagram followers or whatever, trying to give everyone a chance. So yeah, everyone's got a chance.
Sometimes me and Lee just find people and like, Chris, we like this person. Just bombard Chris with lots of art.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, recommendations are always welcome. Yeah, even if it's not yourself, you can send someone else's. What else have we got in here? I'm just trying to scan through.
Yeah, Chris will be busy making hats.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to be doing that. They cost far too much, and I don't think. I would not enjoy it by the end of it, I'm afraid. Mel's got a question. What is your favourite medium to paint or draw with? Do you two want to go with that? Kat, you want to go first? And then
I'm a fine liner kind of person. I love fine liners. They go over absolutely everything. The Molto ones don't smudge or anything, so that's why they're my favourite ones. But I really like paint pens. And then just
controversial
all over the page, and then going over with a fine liner, because you can really get messy, but in a great way. I just love making marks and being expressive, and then so fine liners are the best way to go back for me.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a fine liner. How about you, Lee?
I like markers, like alcohol markers, but I actually really did like the Karen markers that were part of the January 22 box, and I ended up getting like more of those because they're just so they're the best.
They blend so well.
So well. Like, I've never used a marker like it, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really fun to play with.
Yeah, they were good. I was really looking forward to including those because I really like the blush, the kind of the wetness of them, if that makes sense. They're not like any other kind of paint pens. The brush nib just really gets all the ink down and flowing. It's nice. I'd say I'm like Kat. I'm like a fine liner or doodling. I just use a fine liner mostly. And then I'd probably, if I was feeling frisky, try and colour it in with some alcohol markers. Trying to read some comments. Oh, thank you, Joe. It says, you guys are awesome. Can't believe it's only 3 of you running the whole thing. I've whinged a couple of times about boxes being late, but I do love this wonderful company and community you've created, so thank you. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
We love the community. The community is what makes it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. You feel like, sometimes I get kind of stressed about various things about getting the boxes up, but once they've gone out and they're done, and then suddenly people start getting them and then creating artwork themes come online and the hashtag starts filling up, it's like such a relief, and that's such a good time of the month.
I love that everyone's always got a really different interpretation of the prompt as well.
Oh, for sure. That's definitely the most exciting.
Yeah, we can give something really literal, but everyone would find something completely different to do with it, which is great.
Yeah.
There's a dog fight outside my house.
Carmel says, have you thought about asking companies who provide supplies to give you discount codes to buy more if you like the supplies in the box, like a cheeky 10% off code? Yes, we have done. I know we've done with Derwent previously. They've given us some companies. Thing is, when you're dealing with the manufacturers direct, they don't always have a direct-to-customer store, so you can't always buy. It's harder to buy directly from the manufacturer, so it's probably easier to go to a different shop. But yeah, we have done coupon codes in the past. I know definitely have with Derwent. I think there's a couple more we might have. But if that's something that people want to do, I know we don't necessarily sell more supplies in the shop, but we could certainly point you in the right direction to get some more of the things you love. Janet says, Kat makes Facebook feel like a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, you guys make it. Like, there'd be no point in being here and looking at anyone's out without you guys. So it's really enjoyable seeing everyone's actions.
Oh, I can see in the chat, in the video, that Mr. Phil, I think, is here. So I know he can't stay for long. So, Phil, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello. I can hear you. I can see you.
Hey.
Excellent.
Hello.
Let's bring you.
Can you see me?
I can see you and hear you.
Ah.
There you are.
I just was sitting here waiting for something to happen and realised I hadn't pressed the join room button. But I worked it out.
Well done. I know. Well, I'm working it all out myself at the same time, so you've done just as good as us. Thank you for taking the time out to come and speak with us today. I know you've had a busy day and you weren't sure whether you're going to make it.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, not that I've even met, I know we've chatted before a few times, but I've never met you before. So I just wanted to say again, thank you very much for, helping me out with putting the December box together and, putting your creative talents to use to make an inspirational artwork with the supplies that we put together. And I think it was a great box. I hope you were pleased with how it turned out too. Yeah,
very much. Very much. I just really enjoyed the sort of community and just seeing what everybody created. Really, that was a real sort of unexpected side to it, I suppose, in a way, because I hadn't heard of it before and getting asked to do it, and then I sort of looked into what it was a bit more, and having put the stuff out there and just seeing what everyone's done has been great. Really, some really good work, and just seeing how they've used the materials as well, because obviously everyone's got their own way of working, and I would approach those materials in a particular way because my work's very flat. And then just seeing the way some people have sort of done, I saw some things, I thought, how have they done that with those markers? They sort of mixed them and done beautiful gradients and come up, create colours that weren't part of the initial markers and used them really creatively.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's my favourite time of them, because you give everyone the same supplies, the same prompt, the same inspiration, but because everyone's different and everyone's skill level or everyone's kind of interpretation of the brief is different, then everyone's piece of work that they create is completely different. Even if it's the same kind of idea, it will be completely different. And everyone's got a different way of looking at the supplies and using them differently. You don't have to use them as a marker. I know Kat was using them a different way, and you can just, it's up to you how you interpret it, and that's why I think it's such a good, experience, is watching what everyone does. Yeah, definitely. I like the idea that people approach it and then they go, well, that's done one, I'm going to try and do another one now, and they have quite a few goes at it and maybe refine the first one or just do something completely different as well. Yeah, because sometimes you may not have used pens like those before, or any kind of the supplies that we send out, you may not have used them before, so it takes a bit of practice. That's why we've gone up from we used to just include a couple of sheets of paper, but they were just taken up with swatching, so now we're trying to include a bit more. I like to include larger pieces as well, but just so you can kind of do the swatching, then do some kind of testing out, and then kind of maybe do a first piece, see how it all works, and then kind of build up so you can see how the progression of everybody's work does as well. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I was so impressed by, I know we had some people in the because I know you do digital work and analog work and things like that, and I know I saw some comments when it's come through saying, is it digital, is it using the supplies? And I obviously I knew that you'd done it. I've seen all the behind the scenes work in progress stuff, so I know you obviously did it with the supplies. But even when I've seen the final piece in real life, I don't know how do you get the colours so flat? Because even then, we were all talking about it in the office. It's it just looks so obviously I've done testing with the supplies and I can't get it that flat. Have you got some special skills or tips you can tell us? Well, no, I mean, it really was just a case of making sure you always get a nice, good flow with them. Make sure they've been pumped and they're shaken so that the paint is nice and fluid. And then on top of that, I guess just sort of laying it down very evenly and maybe doing more than one coat. That's sort of the way I sort of seem to work, though. That's sort of methodical. I'm slowly moving more towards putting more texture into things as well, which I think's a good idea. And that's what's been really good about this, is seeing what people have done. It's actually, I could use the materials in a different way myself, because a lot of the texture I do digitally. So to try and get back to doing that, analog in the analog world, it would be great.
But yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, I think what really helps as well is like that finish, like you see there, putting those lines on at the end.
Yeah.
It just makes everything so crisp. It just pulls everything together.
Yeah, tidies everything up and brings it all together, and that's what. Even that, just looking at your solid block colors, I was like, it's crazy how. I mean, I guess you've practiced with the supplies and done it a while, been doing it for a while. But,
yeah.
So yeah, well.
But yeah, no cheating. It was all done with the pins.
Well, that's the thing. Like we don't mind a bit of cheating. Yeah, we say you can just use the supplies in the box, but sometimes we don't want to hold you back. So if you wanted to use an extra highlighter or an extra pen to finish off your work, then why not? It's more about kind of giving you the inspiration to start something and create something. Because I think when I first started, I thought it was kind of about getting cheap supplies or experiencing new supplies, but it's not. It's about a more of a project, like something to do, like I paid for this, so now I have to create something with it. And it kind of forces you out of your comfort zone, maybe with the supplies, but to create something. And yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's definitely, that's why it works. And I think, seeing people's responses to it as well, they're quite excited to see what's going to be in the box as well. Like, I didn't realize, I knew people did unboxing videos, but I didn't realize that was going to happen as well. There'd be people on YouTube unboxing it and going through the supplies and being excited by it and initially going, oh, I've got an idea, and then sort of putting them to one side and then actually some people just almost immediately getting on top of it and doing their piece. And I really enjoyed that as well, because I suppose a lot of my work goes out, and that was also really nice to see people just opening the box and picking up my print, the print of my piece, and just reacting to it in the moment, and people saying nice stuff about my work. So that was really lovely getting that feedback as well. So another element of it was really nice from my perspective. But yeah, I love the idea though that people just get this box and you're sort of like forced to use it in a way, like you say. You paid for it, you've committed to it in a way. And that's what it's the same with me. This is what I do for a living, but there are times when it's really hard to sort of motivate yourself to do work. And so to have something like that, if it's a hobby, to have something to turn up, to go, right, here you go, here's your thing, get on with it. It's great. Yeah,
that's good. I've got a few questions in the comments I can see for you, Phil, if you don't mind. People are asking, what paper did you use? I know that the final piece, was it A2? It was big.
Yeah.
The actual piece was A2, and we had to shrink it down to A5 to fit in the box. But I don't think you use the same paper that we put in the box. So what paper do you use normally, and what?
It's a white. It's card. I think it's 200 gram, 180 gram sheets of card. I buy it online. I buy it from a company called Baker Ross who do art supplies.
So it's not particular brand, or?
No, it's I just always get it from them, and it's card. I think what I found in the past with paper is it's a lot more textured. So there's always some sort of, if it's too thin, it bleeds. If I'm using like a Sharpie or something, then it'll bleed. And if it's too coarse, then you don't get the smooth line. You don't get the same sort of movement on the paper. And also it sort of affects the nib a bit more as well, and sort of fluffs the nib up a bit more if it's a strong texture on the paper. Yeah,
we used like 250 GSM white card, and like it was the smoothness that I wanted to keep. It does kind of, those nibs of those pens can be a bit, especially when they're new, they can be very kind of scratchy. So yeah, it's good to have it flat, and I guess that's why you can get those flat colours with the smooth paper. It kind of the goes down quite nicely.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
Kat or Lee, do you have any questions for Phil while you're here?
No, I've gone blank.
Oh, I have one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Kat, you go first.
You go first. I've gone blank.
Would you ever try a different style of art?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I suppose because I've been working on this particular style for quite a while, and that is how I work. I'm probably, you know, not reluctant to do that, but I guess I just continue sort of evolving the thing I do. But yeah, no, I absolutely would. I mean, sometimes I like just drawing stuff that looks more realistic as well. But yeah, again, looking at what everybody did on this project, it has actually inspired me to think, oh, I should try other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Why, did you have something in mind?
No, I was just wondering what like a portrait from you would look like. Would it be like sort of like your doodle style, or like a sort of Van Gogh? Like, I'd be really interested to see.
I suppose I'd have to. That's a good question. If I did it thinking that I was going to do it in my style, then it would look more, sort of pop arty, I suppose. Or, but yeah, I mean, if I was going to try and approach it in a different style, like actually do sort of a pencil, which I remember doing at A level, like drawing, shading, proportion. I suppose that's the thing about what I do now is it's so free that I just do what I want, and it doesn't have to be anatomically correct.
And it works.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Your style is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
We've got a question from Amy in the comments. Says, is Mr. Phil now a subscriber? Can we expect to see him trying future boxes? Would you like to try other people's boxes, Phil? Would you be interested in? I mean, I'm sure I could send you. I know I've sent you this box, but I could send you other boxes. I'd like to see. I guess that is leading on from like Lee's questions. Like, if we kind of gave you a box from, with oil pastels in and it had like a landscape. How would you interpret that? Would you be taking on the challenge, or would you do you feel yourself going back to your style and just use those, or would you try and, experiment with other things?
Yeah, I'd love to give it a go. I think I would try and do it as earnestly in the style and with the instructions that were given. If I couldn't help but put my style in there, I mean, obviously, your own style is going to come through anyway. But no, I wouldn't go right now. Forget that. I'm going to do it crazy, just 3 colors. Or no, I'd love to try and do something and have that direction as well in a way, and have those parameters and boundaries set out for me.
Well, I'm sure we can sort you out with the January box going forward, and some other boxes if you continue, if you wanted to. And I'm sure everyone would love to see what you did, outside of your own style. I think that would be interesting. Yeah,
I'd love to give it a go.
Well, yeah, we can certainly do that. I know you've got stuff to do. You're right to hang around, or do you want to?
Yeah, I might for a few more minutes. Yeah, sorry, I've got a dash, but
that's fine. You're a busy man. You're a busy man who can't be chatting around like this. Let's see what else has anyone got any questions in the comments. Let's see. Mel says, "I love your monsters."
Oh, thank you.
What else we got? Any of Cat or Lee? Can you see any other good questions in there? I haven't been paying attention.
I can't see the comments, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. Oh, what? Amy says, what or who inspired your style? Where's the style come from, is it?
I think it's a bit of a reaction to, like I was saying before, maybe traditional methods, like the stuff you're actually taught to do and the way you're taught to draw. I think once I'd left that sort of teaching environment, I just wanted to do my own thing, really. Make up my own sort of rules about how I did things. Yeah. And I think looking back, when I was a kid, I used to copy stuff out of comics quite a lot. Watch a lot of cartoons. I think and a massive influence was playing computer games in sort of the late 80s. So I think those things have sort of carried through, and I think some of the sort of simplicity of early video games, I think, has inspired me.
Yeah, you can certainly see that kind of that style in your work. So I guess that's kind of. Do you find it hard? I mean, do you find it hard to kind of come up with something new, or do you try and push yourself to something new, or are you happy just kind of? Because I do kind of like a doodle style. Mine's kind of more like a paisley thing, and I feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over. But I know that's kind of you have to do that to kind of build your style and work out what you're doing. But do you ever think, you know, am I just repeating myself, or how do you get over that? Because sometimes, obviously everyone gets the fear of being an artist and no one's going to like it, or you're doing the right thing, that kind of self-doubt.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with, agree with that. I suppose it's just when you're sort of, I suppose the difference is if I'm just doing my own thing, I do agree. I do feel like sometimes there are motifs that I've built up and characters that just seem to always reappear.
But it's like a language, isn't it, that you've kind of created in your artwork? So it would feel wrong if it wasn't there, essentially.
Definitely. I think it's quite interesting when I look back, because I quite often just get, a big sheet of A2 and just do a doodle. And every now and then, for every sort of maybe fifth one, I might photograph it, take it into Photoshop and, colour it and play around with it a little bit more. There's quite a few just sitting in my drawer that I've just done and put away, not really looked at that much. And it's quite interesting going back and looking at those. And every now and then I'll see a character that I've done that I didn't repeat. And I'm like, oh, he's quite cool. Why don't I, that monster's nice. I should use that again. So I'm trying to sort of go back and look upon the bits that have happened that I'd maybe disregarded at the time or just didn't repeat for whatever reason. Because I think otherwise, like you said, I do tend to sort of go, okay, I'm doing this guy with a triangle nose and and the way this joins up is like that. Again, as you say, it is a language and it's very important, I think, if you build a style to
people need to be able to recognize your work as well when they see it. So
definitely
they can see it.
But then when I get a commission, it's really nice because people will say, right, okay, we want it to be on this theme and we want to have these things in it. So that's when it sort of forces you. It makes it harder. I'd much rather just go, I'll do what I know and what I find easy. But then those commissions are great because they push you forward.
Katie says, I see creating art like eating food. I get bored eating even my favourite food every meal. I feel the same applies to my art style. So I can see how that would work. Do you have kind of like, imagine you've got like a sketchbook, like, because we only kind of see the final pieces on Instagram or whatever. Do you have like a sketchbook where you just kind of draw random little monsters and little shapes and characters that you kind of then take and put into a final thing? Or is it just kind of, it's hard to work to how planned out is it rather than how that kind of just free and do you work?
Yeah, most of it's on the fly, to be honest. I do stuff in sketchbooks, but I find that the characters are created by filling the page or by trying to do a finished piece. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I still do. I find if I do sketchbook stuff of just individual things, it looks very different. I end up doing more realistic things, I suppose. But when I get the pen out and just start trying to fill the page, that's when, I don't do things separately and then try and incorporate them. It's like you say, it's all part of that process of.
You have to kind of, you get halfway through and what would look good against this bit, what would fill
exactly
like section of the page, and kind of the composition building as you go.
That's right. Yeah, you're sort of reacting to what you're doing, and sometimes it's you make some marks and you see the two things together and you go, that will make. I can see what needs to go in there to make that work. Those things work together now. You end up with stuff you didn't expect.
Okay. Well, one final question. I know I spoke about this with Lee in the office today. Is how do you make the jump from working a normal job to becoming a professional artist? Because I know there's lots of people in the community that essentially are hobbyists and do art whenever they can, and it's for a lot of people it's really hard to kind of turn it into a profession and make money from it. How did you make that jump? Obviously, was it what made you decide? Was it a tough decision to go, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time, or is there a story there?
Well, I was already freelance. I was a freelance web designer, so I already worked for myself. So I didn't have to sort of stop doing something to start this. Okay. I started doing this as well as doing the other thing. And what seemed to happen was the sort of percentage of one shrank while the other one grew. So it was nice to have something else going on that took the pressure off me saying, right, I've quit my job. I now need to make some money as an illustrator. What shall I do? And then maybe forcing a style as well, looking at what's out there and going, okay, so what do I need to do to become successful? What's popular? I had the fortune in that sense to be able to just do my own thing alongside my other work, and then that grew into something that luckily people wanted.
Yeah, I understand that kind of, Bill. That's how we kind of started Scrawlr boxes. Like, I started it thinking, will anyone want anything? And then it was weekends and evenings building boxes in the attic of my house and posting them out. And then slowly it got to a long weekend, and I was doing like 2 full-time jobs. One at night, one in the day. I was like, okay, this is where I've got to kind of jack one of them in. So.
But there you go. That's a good example, isn't it? So you started one thing while the other was going on, and when that got big enough to make that jump, I think obviously still probably a tough decision and a hard one to make, to go, right, okay, I'm stopping that other thing now.
Well, I had a job where I was kind of being paid by someone else to do a job, so that's kind of job security there, and paying the mortgage and stuff. So leaving that to then say, right, I'm in charge of everything now. So it's scary, but it's quite liberating at the same time. So
then you can put all your energy into that, can't you, as well? That's a really nice thing. If it's got momentum already, then you can go, right, brilliant, now I can just focus on that thing. And
I'd like to say I thought I was going to have like twice as much time. Like, I have loads of if I quit my full-time job, I have loads of time, and then suddenly that time just disappears, and you're like, how have I was doing 2 jobs and now I'm doing just one, and I still don't have any time left. Where did it go?
Exactly. It all gets filled somehow.
Well, I will let you get on. You're welcome to stick around and watch the rest of the show. I call that show, the rest of the chaos that's going to happen when I start randomly pressing buttons. But thank you very much for again helping us create the box, and I've seen you commenting on people's posts and getting involved with the community, so I really appreciate that. Thanks for coming in today and chatting. I've really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else has. So I'll make sure you get some future boxes to come. I'll send them out to you, and we look forward to seeing what you create with the next one.
You're welcome. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me involved. It's been
no
good.
problem. If you don't follow Mr. Phil already, he is Mr. Phil Draws on Instagram, so go follow him. I'm sure you all do. Or if you got the December box, it's on the back of the print here. All this details. So thanks very much, Phil.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
See you again soon.
See you later.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Just doing random stuff now. Okay, and we're back. Well, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really good to talk
he's
to him.
lovely.
Really good insight. Yeah, he's lovely. It's always good to we've never really spoken to a featured artist before.
No, we do the interview, but that's kind of like a question and answer filled in reply. Maybe we should do more kind of like phone interviews, or like talking to the artists, really, because
that was really nice.
All good writing them down, but kind of just chatting through, you get a bit more information. Although it might be hard to condense into print form, but helpful. Katie says that's helpful to know. I currently have a non-art job where I work from home at a call centre. Luckily, I have a boss who is very accommodating for my arty endeavours. Yeah, well, you kind of, I think it'd be tough to quit your job and just decide to become an artist. You got to have some kind of foot in a door somewhere, I guess, and start selling. There's lots of ways to do it through Etsy and Instagram and stuff, just trying to raise your profile and things like that. So
it's a brave step to finally bite the bullet.
Yeah. Right, we've spoken to Ed. Shall we delve into the December box a bit and see what we think of the supplies?
Yeah, come on.
Let's do that.
I didn't open my box yet, so I'm going to open it now.
Oh, okay. Sorry if I'm not reading your comments, everyone. Trying to do 6 things at once. Mel says, do you think you do a live Q&A with all the featured artists each month, or perhaps a pre-recorded video on the website? We'd love to. Like we were speaking to, that's one of the reasons why we started this, is to kind of get to know our featured artists more, give you our subscribers and our community more content about, you know, behind the box, you know, things you can't get from the zine or you know, social, like pre-recorded social media. You can ask questions and we can be a bit on the fly. So yeah, if I know everyone's not always available or keen to, so some people don't like showing their face or talking, which is fine. But yeah, wherever we can, we'd like to kind of talk to featured artists and give you the chance to ask them questions. And yeah. Okay.
It might be good to get some of them of our community as well. We could get maybe one of our top 3 on to have a little questionnaire if they didn't mind.
Top 3, yeah, definitely like to
get them more involved.
I'm sure some people would be keen to
Yeah.
get their face on camera. I mean, it might be hard trying to get rid of them. That's the only problem.
They can stay.
They can stay, yeah. Or also what we're talking about, not the featured artist, but maybe the Scrawlr stars. We obviously, if you don't know, we like every year or so we pick our favorite scrawler who does our favorite pieces of artwork, gets involved with the community and the challenges on a monthly basis, and we pick our favorite, and they win a lifetime supply of Scrawlr box, which is pretty good prize. I don't know whether that's my life or their life or whatever, but as long as we're making boxes, they're gonna get one because we want them to continue. So that's always a good thing to shoot for.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into some of the supplies, shall we?
Yeah.
What shot should we use for this one? Let's try this one. Oh, not this one.
You see?
Okay. I pre-opened my box. Do what everyone does and get annoyed with this issue. I'm going to have some.
Oh, I forgot that there were Mentos in these ones. I really like them.
I got a lemon. I think there's 4 different flavour types. Now I'm going to be eating. It's probably not.
Great timing.
Someone else say something. Can you see my top down view?
Yeah, we can see.
I feel like waffles. So yeah, the main supply, I'll go with this one because it's my favourite colour. Open them. I should have pre-opened them, shouldn't I? Steph says, my daughter always steals my sweets from the boxes. Don't just open it first. My son does the same, so to be fair. So, what should we say? They is it going to focus on here? I'm doing silly close-up things like YouTubers do now. Edding acrylic markers. I thought these were really interesting. One, the colours were really nice. And fit with, they were chosen by Phil. They're kind of like a CMYK. Bear with me while I prime this one.
I found these ones were harder to activate, but then once they were activated, they didn't really need a lot of like pumping and shaking afterwards. Although I did take mine apart. So
yeah, the ink flowed really nicely.
I completely ripped my pens apart to get the ink inside.
Yeah, I really like them. I think with all these, my kind of added tip, I think, is what I always do with these kind of marker pens. When they're first new, like I was saying with Phil, is when they're first new, these nibs are really quite scratchy and stiff. And I don't know if I've got any others, but maybe this Posca one here. If you look at this Posca nib, that's pretty messed up, but it's so soft, the ink just flows really nicely. That's not without shaking and priming. So I'd suggest really just giving it a good bash. I mean, you can replace them, but I just like to bash them all up so they always become more brush-like. And I feel like it's a bit thicker, but the ink flows a little bit better. You can see that now. It's kind of a bit softer. Not much. It's almost kind of threaded out. And you can like just pick it out. I'm getting paint all over my hands, but so that would be my extra tip for these supplies. Yeah, look at that. You get real.
Yeah, sort of made it thicker as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's thicker, and I think you get a more consistent. I mean, it's better for filling in gaps. You can still get the thinner lines if you want. It does give it more of a brushy texture. Sometimes you get those swipes and textures, but that's how I like to work with these supplies. How about you guys? Have you got any tips? Kat, you had a good
Lee,
or Lee?
Lee,
you had one with these supplies.
we swapped, didn't we? Lee's going for the paint pen. I'm going for the chisel nib.
You've got.
You can go first this time, Kat.
Right, mix it up.
Okay. Okay. What was your what item are you choosing from the box to give us a
chisel nib?
The chisel.
Nib. Yeah, I love a chisel nib because we've got the fat bit and the thin bit. You can get all sorts of mark making. I really like, as I said, for making expressive marks and stuff. This is the perfect pen for it. And again, uni pens are really good because they don't smudge, so you can go back over it even with yellow. It still won't smudge. Yellow alcohol markers tend to smudge everything, but not so much a uni pen. So that's good.
Can I see your camera? I don't know if I can or not.
Is it working?
No, I think that's not working, is it? You're not moving in it.
I'm not moving.
I don't think so. Don't worry.
Is that better?
No, I don't think so. Let's do it to this
There
camera.
we go. We've encountered our first technical difficulty. Of course, it was from me.
I mean, it's probably quite thin to do. What I liked about these was that they're kind of like.
I'll also just show you.
They're kind of multi-use, aren't they? You can get the thin line by using the point or the thick line, and they do different. They do this is a 2. They do a 1 and a 3. The 1's very, like, you could hardly call it a chisel. It's more like a pointy brush, but the 3's quite thick, getting closer. But I thought this was a good compromise, and you get a thick line and a thin line.
You can also, when you like hold the pen closer to the nib, you've obviously got a lot more control over the pen. So the lines you do will be straighter, more uniform. And when you hold it towards the edge, you get like wibbly wobbly bits that just don't really add a bit of texture. I've just done this really quickly because the overhead's not working. So like holding it loosely, it's gone all funny wibbly wobbly, which is really nice. And then holding it with a bit more control, it's thicker. That's my favourite thing about this. Brings me lots of joy making marks.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. That's what I think. That's why I like
with the paint pens as well. It's just a bit messier. That's why I took them apart, because then you can make like a really nice background by just spilling the paint everywhere and then going over the top.
Well, that's like what Phil was saying about how he was interested or excited to see kind of how people use them, all the supplies in different ways. In like unexpected ways sometimes. So it's good to see that. I know, Lee, you had a tip of how you were using the acrylic markers, not in the way, I mean, like I was using the nib or something. And I know people in the comments were saying, someone said that they're using water with them and things like that. So
yeah, the nibs really stress me out because they're not soft. Like I like brush tips.
Yeah.
And these are too hard for me. And I should have done what you said actually, and just like
it does
help
help.
a bit.
It does help. You should.
But no, I ended up because I don't really like super opaque colours, especially when I'm drawing. I like it kind of to be sheer and just add like a subtle little pop. So like I mixed mine with water and kind of used it like just like normal paint, like kind of like a watercolor, because I really enjoyed how smooth it was and like how I could control it. And yeah, so obviously the more water you add, the more opaque it, the more sheer it goes, which I really like. I dislike how I couldn't control the marker, but that's my own folly, not the markers, I guess. But yeah, and then you can like obviously mix and like make new colors, and it's just like it's so pretty, and just like the colors are beautiful, and you can like, it's like Chris said, it's like the whole spectrum in these 3 pens, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, Steph said I dabbed mine in cotton wool to create texture. Yeah, that's good.
That's a great idea.
They're acrylic, they're water based, so you could wet them down or mix them up on a palette or put them down and then blend them out with a brush. I'm more of a marker person, so although I'd like to, that's why I kind of do the compromise of turning the nib into a brush almost by kind of bashing it apart. It's the control. I'm not very good at keeping my brushes clean, and I always get messy that way. So you have to get 4 different brushes.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's my tip. Add water to it. Use it like paint.
Yeah, make a nice wash for a background as well that way. Get lots of water in there, cover the background.
Yeah.
That is true. I'm doing that. Oh. There we go. We're back. So yeah, that's a few tips. I mean, I don't really know. We've been going nearly an hour now. I don't want to go too long or bore people, but I guess half the point of this live is to kind of ask you, the community, and the people that are here now, and also if anybody watches this afterwards, I'm guessing it will still be available to view after, to let us know kind of if this is the kind of content you want to see and what should we include in it. I think just kind of going over the previous month's box, giving maybe some more kind of tutorial based stuff, like a bit more in depth, especially if we can get a featured artist to do some stuff. Then I think that's one of the things we're going to try and do, not just here but in more of in the boxes in the future, is kind of go a bit more in depth with the tips and maybe kind of turn them into a bit of not a lesson, I don't want it to be school-like, but a bit more in-depth tips, I guess that makes sense. A bit more detail.
Just different ways to use the supplies as opposed to just like as they are. You can take it beyond the box.
Beyond the box, yeah. There you go. We've got the title down already. Yeah, kind of if we can kind of explore a bit more in depth about the supplies in the monthly boxes. It'd be great to talk to the artists or some of the community, get some guests on. We could talk about some of the community posts because we have
big stuff going on in the community, lots of stuff.
Yeah, we've got I put together, because we've just released the December box on the website, and that means we've chosen our top 3. Here we are. You can see calligraphy. Is it Lena 2107? Lena Draw or Ena Draws and Jenna Woods. There are top three from December. They will be in the February zine, I think, which has been put together. Was it January? No, February.
It's February. Yeah.
I get confused. So yeah, we could talk about, maybe we could get the top three on. We could talk about why we chose them. Maybe. I mean, these were our favourites. You were particularly enamoured by Bruce when you
I was, yeah. I fell in love
Loved
with
Bruce.
It came
As
up
soon
on
as
my
Kat showed
feed.
me Bruce,
So
I was like, he's
excited.
the one. Yeah,
He's
for
the
sure.
one.
His little face, it just makes me so
He's
happy.
so cute. And his name's
Simple
Bruce.
line making just the perfect amount of character. I know what kind of dog Bruce is just from looking at this, and I love it.
Bruce is good. I really loved calligraphy's one. That the detail, and it's kind of, it was more like, it's like Mr. Phil's style, but it's almost like darker, if you know what I mean. It's kind of
yeah, it's got like a bit of a Tim Burton edge to it.
Yeah, it has.
I was just about to say that, Kat. Yes, Tim Burton.
Great minds.
Yeah, for sure.
That was good. And Ina's, is it Ina? Yeah, Ina's one that's kind of like the chaotic creativity that's kind of coming out of her mind or from her sketch pad. That was a good little concept. I really like that. And the colours, they've used all the colours really well together in all of those. So yeah, we'd like to talk about the top three or our other favourite community pieces, because there's loads to choose from. It's really hard to choose the top three, isn't it? So
hard. Every single time I always get...
There's so many.
I get upset that not everyone can be a top three.
Yeah,
but we do, you keep a list of everyone who we have chosen, and we try to mix up, so not, there's some people that keep cropping up that eventually end up becoming Scrawlr stars, I guess, that are our favourites. But there's lots of different styles and interpretations which are good. And we could go to the Scrawlr sketch as well. That could be part of it. Someone. There's the person. It's one of the top three people here. Surely not. I thought someone said Katie. Amy's 2023 goal is to make it into the magazine.
that's a great goal, Amy.
Wait, Carmel, have you cheated the system by changing different names so we don't know if we picked you before? That doesn't sound like it. Creating new Instagram accounts. Sneaky. So, yeah, basically we'd like to, this is kind of just a test. Lesson one is make sure you got your microphone turned on when you start a live stream. Noted. And then, just kind of finding out what people want to do, if they want to ask us questions personally, not too personal, but about the company or business. We don't want to get into any kind of, like the community, we don't want to get into any kind of detailed support requests, but we certainly give updates about big issues or anything that's happening.
Yeah, like the Royal Mail thing at the moment.
International Royal. I don't know if anybody's from outside the UK here. I'm pretty sure most people will be UK based. But who knows? Anyone from outside the UK? Anyone? Where are you from? Put where you're from in the chat. Is that what everyone says in live stream? Okay. We'd like to, maybe we're not this time, but maybe like a challenge would be quite good. Like a drawing challenge live, where we could do a drawing challenge and everyone watching could also get involved and share their artwork. We could do some quick drawing. Oh, Nikki's from Florida.
Florida, USA. Sorry.
Germany. Anika, hello. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
Vienna. Sweden.
Sweden.
We got the whole
Hello.
world here.
Teesside, that's miles
So-
away. Scotland.
That is a different country.
Different country.
Sorry, just quickly.
Yeah.
Pauline says she would like some ideas for coming up with new ideas. So
Some ideas for
I think
coming
it's
up
a
with
good-
new ideas.
yeah.
How to come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Like for drawing, like prompts.
Yeah, guess that's kind of why we do the challenges and the weekly Scrawlr sketches. It's just kind of to give you a prompt to. The idea is to kind of just, you've got to draw through it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Or research, I guess. But yeah, we could. That's why I was thinking, like, just a challenge on the stream might be quite. I mean, we don't have to spend all the time, but maybe like a 5-10 minute drawing challenge where we all draw the same prompt.
You guys could pick the prompts.
You could pick the prompts, and we could draw them. Then you could pick which one of us are the best, and we can pick one of you guys. We'd like to do some giveaways. I've got a prize to do a giveaway today for. I think there's a few people here to comprise it. I don't know. I was hoping the Facebook comment thing would work here, but I'm not sure. That might have to be a more technical thing. But maybe we could do a quick. There's not that many people, so we might be able to pick. If we get people to write giveaway in the comments, and we'll pick one of them and send them a prize. So go, write giveaway. And I've got one of these special
Gasp.
Scrawlr mystery.
Hey, there they are.
Scrawlr packs to give away, which I don't know what's in it. It's full of.
We don't know what's in it. We packed them and we completely forgotten.
Full of previous supplies that we've had left over. Maybe some samples that we've been sent. Just if you look around my desk, you can see probably they're just pens and art supplies everywhere. So we have lots of spare ones that take up too much space sometimes. So we'd like to give them away to you. So we've packed up a few of these bags, and we could give away one of these every month. And we could even throw in a December box. So let's say a Scrawlr pack and a December box for someone who writes giveaway in the comments. And then I'm just going to pick someone at random.
Is it a hat? Mel really wants a hat. I told you
it's not the hat. I'm not giving away the hat. Maybe
we can
for
draw one to give away. Maybe next time.
If we get to 100 streams or something, then I give away the hat. By that point, it might not want it by that point. It would take me that long to do another one. I think it took me so long to do this one.
Did it not? Because you use Copics. Did it not bleed into the fabric? What's it made of? I've never seen it in real life.
It's like a.
I saw it today.
What is it? It's like a Yupong hat. It's like a trucker's cap, and the front's kind of. It's quite soft. It does bleed a little bit. But
that's awesome.
I don't know. I think it's faded a little bit in the sun, but merch hats are in demand. I thought you said on demand then, Amy. No, I can't. Not on demand. I did think about a merch hat, but then I also wanted to do like Scrawlr blanks, do a blanks box with a hat, because it's kind of a similar thing. So we put a blank hat in and the supplies. Maybe we could look into that. Could be the next. I am going to pick the winner now, Belinda.
Good night.
Then we'll get in touch.
Oh, drum roll.
I do have a drum roll. Hang on.
You do, yeah. You put all your sound effects to the
I haven't been using any of my. Oh, that's not long enough. I haven't picked yet. Okay, I'm scrolling through. If people won't give away more than once, then they're more likely to get it. So here we go. It's 2 minutes to go. Rolling. Stop. Okay. Oh, it moved. Wait. Gemma Garnett. I'm going to like it.
Hey!
Well done, Gemma!
Well done, Gemma! Mystery bag.
Winner. We will be in touch with you, Gemma. to get you your prize. Hope you like it. If you've already got a December Scrawlr box, you can gift it to someone else, or let me know and we can give it to someone else. But I'm sure you'll find a good home for it. You can never have too many art supplies, as we all already know.
For sure.
So yeah, I think unless anyone's got any other questions or, you know, moments that they want to talk about, anything you need to say, guys, or just thank you everyone for coming. Thanks for getting involved,
for having the patience for our very first live stream.
I promise it'll be better next time. Actually, I shouldn't do that.
Don't make promises.
Don't make promises. It hasn't been that bad, sure. I think Mr. Phil saved it, so it's fine.
Mr. Phil saved it.
Yeah, so we will try, you know, everyone should get a little bit better, right? So we know how it works now. See how it works, see what people want. I'm keen to, if you want to write it in the comments, or you can send a message to Lee at support at scrawlrbox.uk, or any other kind of Scrawlrbox one, and she'll let us know, or you can just post it on the Facebook community or anywhere. We're all over. We'll find you. We'll find you. So yeah, let us know what you want. We'll try and come up with a better structure and turn the microphones on properly next time. And yeah, thanks for coming. Thank you, Kat and Lee, for helping me out and fill in the silence. This is the Scrawlr Box team assembled. Yeah, that's all I've got to say, really. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for coming. I guess we just end it there, do we?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
I definitely think we should get more artists on. That was great. Mr. Phil was lovely.
Definitely.